control video. Figured I might as well mop up some other things going on in the oldest house before we move onward to the Foundation DLC. Essentially, there's not that much left to do, except for a couple of optional kind of bosses that are fun and important, and a bunch of secondary side quests for Langston. So, first things first, I'm going to go deal with some mold stuff, which requires going down to see Raya Underwood. So I'm going to go to Central Research, and while that loads, essentially there's a bunch of mold that you've seen throughout the oldest house, right? And some of it's blocking doorways, and I can't get into it until I get an inoculation to the mold, essentially. And Raya can make that if I do this quest for her. So I'm going to go collect mold samples from all over a threshold that's covered in mold, and I really hate this threshold, I'm going to be honest. There's essentially, once you've beaten the primary gameplay of Control, there's a couple of those optional bosses that I mentioned. Tomasi's one of them, who is the head officer of communications. We beat him halfway, and then he escaped from the mailroom. And there's a mold boss that is a nightmare, that in my opinion was the hardest boss in the dang game. I didn't have that much trouble with Tomasi. I mean, don't get me wrong, he killed me a whole bunch of times, but he was definitely easier than the mold boss, whom I despised. So we're going to start the mold quest, but I don't know if I'll actually be beating the mold boss. Definitely not this particular video, but I don't know if I'm going to bother beating it at all, because I hate it. I hate it so much. So, we already talked to Raya. I remember we've met her. We've already been down here. I showed you what the mold looks like. So, let's open up the quest just so I can keep track of it. If we go to my menu, and go to the missions, and track old growth. And then I get back out of it, and it'll tell me exactly what I need to do. So, there's the mold monsters. There's like that little spore thing just went off that doesn't mean anything at all, so that's good at least. Same thing over there, went off, doesn't mean anything at all. But there's these red spheres that are like explosive. They do a lot of damage, so you have to be cautious of them. And I'm just picking up objects as soon as I walk into rooms, just to potentially guard myself against any mold dudes that are sitting around. So I think this is just... Okay, this is just a item and a research note. Let's see, what was the research note? Pink Flamingo supplement. Okay, so this is an altered item that we can go and collect later for Langston. Background. Agents notice a transient commonly found outside the entrance of the Bureau headquarters would carry the item and loudly claim to be responsible for the lack of inclement weather. The frequency of these claims attracted the personal interest of Dr. Darling. In interviews disguised as casual conversations, the transient reported that the item gives me clouds when it's hot and sun when it's not. An event of note occurred during a heavy downpour when the vagrant was witnessed performing a possible ritual with the item. Dr. Darling reported a wait of blank seconds before the rain stopped. The vagrant was seized the next day. After blank, he was found to possess no blank and was released. The item remains in Bureau custody under suspicion of altered status. This has still not been proven. All known variations of the identification formula have failed to elicit a response from the item. They just stole this poor homeless guy's pink flamingo. Because Dr. Darling's a dick. Surprising absolutely no one. Don't get me wrong, he's my favorite. Actually my favorite. But he's a piece of fucking shit. So I know that there are some, yep, there they are, some mold hosts in here. You can't let them get too close to you because they do kind of like, not even a vomiting attack, I'm not sure how to describe it. They do an attack that just does so much fucking damage. So okay, and then over there are some mold hosts as well that I'm going to have to deal with. But, so, theoretically, there's this big open room, and I get to it by going to the right here. The problem with going to the right is there's a dude right over there, you can just see him between those two red glowy things, that is going to kick my ass the moment I come out of hiding, because he's going to shoot these fucking things at me that do so much goddamn damage and are slightly homing. Hopefully that did some damage to him. Oh, yep, there they are. Did I get him? Did I get him? Oh, yeah, okay. So the first time I came down here to do these quests, I was much lower level. And so my weaponry was not as upgraded. This time I'm doing slightly better because I have upgraded the gun that I have significantly. Oh, is that him? Yep, that's him. There's several of these fuckers. And you want to throw shit at them or shoot them and then get behind cover immediately. These are the same things that were kicking my ass over above the, whoop, and see they still fire. Once they're fired, they'll continue shooting even if they, even if you kill the host. These are the same things that were kicking my butt above the coolant section. They just kick my butt. That's kind of their thing. They kick butt. I think that was all of the ones that shoot the actual seed pods. Knock down some of those guys. These things are just a threat waiting to happen, so as far as I'm concerned, they're more of a hazard than they're worth. You could theoretically launch them at enemies, but my god, they're just such a threat as far as I'm concerned to my health and well-being and safety. I would rather have them explode before I show up. Okay, so I'm just looking around to see if I can see any other living mold creatures that I can wipe out from a distance. And I'm not seeing any, so I think we're good to go down our little stairwell here. And it's also very dark here, which is always nerve-wracking. Oh, see those guys right there? I feel like that's an invitation to have one of those go off when you're least expecting it and you're unprepared for it. That's how I feel. Okay. So, at some point in the near future, I will be able to jump down there and not take damage, but right now if I go down there, I will take damage because it's full of mold spores, and mold spores are bad for you. Nope. Fuck you, buddy. Oh, see, there's another one. Always another one. And also, I set that off at the wrong time. Well, let's see if I can actually use this one against him. Hey, that worked out. Maybe this one as well? Doing a little bit better this time. Alright. I think he went down successfully. Anybody else want to shoot at me while I'm out here in the open? I'm terrified of those things coming down on my head. I died a couple times the first time I went through here from stupid mistakes like that. Alright, I'm going to levitate over here and pick up some of this health. They don't drop a lot of health either, which is quite frustrating. I think when you first play this section, you're not really supposed to have the levitate option. Because, like, you have to go around that whole area to get to the, to get to this platform. And I think I'm pretty sure there's a,
found one.
Oh yeah, grows under staircases. I'm pretty sure there's a couple baddies in there that I avoided fighting by just going around them. But yeah, I think you're supposed to do this at a lower level, and I'm a little bit overpowered. It's just maybe possible that I'm overpowered. Nothing over there. Okay, let's go this way. So there is a what's the word I'm looking for? Control point. Oh, yeah, definitely an enemy somewhere around there. Yeah. Please, motherfucker. Oh. I'll just hide behind this wall then. I can't even see him. I can tell he's there, but I cannot tell where he is. Oh, that corner right there. So I think he spawned once I picked up the mold. I'm fairly certain that this entire area is full of enemies that spawn exclusively when you do certain things, like pick up the mold, or claim that control point, or something like that. I know he's still shooting because my explosive blew up mid-air, and if I had killed him, there would have been nothing to take out my explosive before it hit him. I don't know what that was, but oh, I guess that was my explosive just hitting right next to my face. Okay, I see blue stuff, which makes me think that at the very least, that's health, and that he took damage enough to die. He, however, there's still one down there somewhere. Oh, there he is. I see him. Just take another round, just in case. I think he's down. I thought he was down. Maybe not. Now he should be down. Okay. So that should be it for shooty motherfuckers. I hope. Please God. Let me turn the volume on this up a little. I'm not able to hear just about anything. Alright, so we've got a control point over here. And as soon as I claim this, I promise you this entire room is going to fill up like it's the 4th of fucking July with goddamn mold creatures coming out that fucking doorway. I promise. Turn the radio on though, just so that it's more fun while we're killing things. Yep. And that room was flippin' empty. If you go and check that room before you claim the control point, it was totally flippin' empty, I swear to God. Oh, they're all around. Okay, well that's cool. That's fine. Oh, they're even coming from behind me. That's awesome. That's a cool thing to do, game, to spawn enemies behind you. Sometimes, I swear to God, this game is trying to drive me up the wall. Anybody else down the stairwell? Am I good? I'm safe from down the stairwell. Okay, good. Now I can just fight them from, theoretically, within this doorway. One point of egress. Hopefully. And yeah, the first time I did this room, I got my butt kicked, I almost died, I was so mad because I'd just gotten that control point, and I just leapt off into the void, floated somewhere safer. Like, I don't want to be here! Alright, what am I looking at? Oh, that's interesting, I didn't notice that last time. There's like a crack of light, there's light, and then like, light coming through that crack? Coming down? Fascinating, okay. Can I get any higher up there? Probably not. I think that's the top of my ability to go up. Okay, so there's a doorway here, and I think there's one other doorway. I'm pretty sure this is going to spawn more enemies.
This must be one of the samples.
So that was grows near fresh corpses. And let's see, do I have more mold people? Just a couple. Well, hopefully just a couple. There's probably like 10 behind me, huh? Who wants to bet on there being 10 behind me? Alright, I got an item. Well, it looks like it was just those two guys. Okay, that's not so bad. So now whenever I want to, I can warp to this spot. So instead of having to go to the top of Central Research, I could just warp there. And that's really pretty. I really want to go up there, but I'm positive it's a... I mean, well, I can't get high enough to go up there, so I'm positive it's a false ceiling. Oh, I can get up here. Aha, I was wrong. There's a secret area. And I got an ability point for it. Nice! There's a lot of hidden areas in this game. Like I said, I was supposed to come through here when I was lower level, so the idea is you'd have to go back through and replay this whole section to find that secret area, because otherwise you would have missed it, because you wouldn't have had the levitate ability. Also, how pretty is that? Just like, you want to go back to the normal oldest house and not back down into the pits of this moldy, stinky hell. As of right now, Jessie mentions that the mold smells awful, but I'm fairly certain that after no, it smells delicious, that's right, because everybody wants to eat it, and once you eat it, you're like infected and things go wrong. But once you get the pill, it smells disgusting. She's like, ew, I can't believe I wanted to eat that. Let's get this box, and then I think we need 3 more samples, and I'm fairly certain the other samples we need are just over on this side, I want to say. There's nobody new trying to shoot at me, which I appreciate. Thanks, guys. I know. Oh, there's one that needs toilets, or it grows in toilets, so we're going towards the restrooms, I guess. Oh, look, a ton of toilets. It's a very strange room. It's a very strange room. Let's go this way and see what's over here. This goes down. Okay, let's not go this way. Let's go up. There's our mold sample in a toilet. Gross. Come on, Jessie, pick it up.
Gross.
Yeah. That is my exact
feeling. Owe me for this.
It's not a Silent Hill game. You don't have to pick things up out of toilets, Jessie. That's a famous thing from Silent Hill. One of the characters in one of the games reaches into a toilet and fishes out like a key item, and you're just kind of low-grade grossed out by it at the time, and then the next game they mention it's like a kind of a joke. Oh, narrowly avoided getting swooshed in the face with vomit. It's kind of a joke because there's an option to reach your hand into the toilet, and the character behaves as though she's going to and then doesn't. She's like, that's disgusting. Who would do that? I'm like, James would. Alright, nothing up here. Just kind of levitating around to make sure there's no mold creatures. So we still need televisions and near the pit. So what's in here? Oh, televisions.
One of Underhill's samples.
And is it another Threshold Kids? Oh my god, it's another Threshold Kids. This is why you need to do these side quests. They're not vital, but otherwise you wouldn't get to see the Threshold Kids. So while you're appreciating the terrifying thing that is the Threshold Kids, I'm going to put French fries in the oven. This is kind of going to be a French fry day. I've never had chicken nuggets that were raw before, but apparently these chicken nuggets must be cooked to 165 degrees because they're raw in the middle. They'll go well with my French fries, but I mean, that's some flippin' effort.
Building shifts occur at random and without warning, but with the Bureau's cutting-edge technology, we can stabilize the oldest house. Safe employees are happy employees.
Thanks, Mr. Uncle Bones.
Certain rituals allow
Mr. Dr.
agents
Bones? I can't
to
remember.
navigate the oldest house as well. But accidents do happen. Trapping agents inside the walls. I heard you got stuck in your room for 3 days, Topher. Too bad you didn't have your book with you. Or any food. And remember, kids, when you feel the floor deviate, it's already much too late.
That piece of wisdom. Threshold Kids are terrifying. Alright, the last mold sample grows near the pit, I guess. I don't think I can pick that TV up. And it's like just glowing even though it's a black screen. It's so dark in here. So near the pit is where I need to go next. And all these blocks are here because again, you're probably playing this without the ability to levitate. There's probably a shit ton of enemies out here once more. Fuck you guys. I hate that I was right. I hate that I was right. Oh, and also apparently able to get hit there. I thought I was a little safer than that, damn. Yeah, I remember this part kind of sucking because you have to fight these guys, but you can't go out because there's a shooty dude who can totally hit you if you go out. But you don't want to get on ground level because you'll definitely get, cornered. Give me your health. Your sweet, sweet health. Alright, oh, shooty dude, shooty dude. Oh, not a shooty dude. This is the most frustrating portion of the game, in my personal opinion. Okay, so I'm going to hide behind this pillar, because I'm safe from one shooty dude here, and I can shoot it. This shooty dude, hopefully, without taking damage from the other shooty dude. Man, I don't have enough health for this. Okay, let's consider our options. I could fly up there and hope not to get hit and gather some health from that room where I killed a bunch of zombos. Let's do that. Okay, so this ticket I have the juke option. That did not work out. I'm like, hey, look, it worked. It didn't fucking work. Okay. Yep. Yeah, sure is a low amount of health you have to just balls. I can make this work. I can make this work. Just don't stop moving. Okay, theoretically there's, oh, that was such a close call. Should be some health here from all the guys I killed here. Yeah, not much, because they don't drop a lot of health, because they're supposed to be, like, easy enemies or some shit. I don't even know if they're supposed to be easy or not. I just know they kick my ass. Alright, there's none in here because there were no enemies in here. Okie doke. I can pick up explodey balls at least. That's something. I don't know how long I can hold these, but hopefully a hot second. So let's figure out where the shooty dudes are coming from. Oh, hello. Hello, my friends. Hello, I did not notice you there. Can I interest you in fucking off? Anybody else? Oh, and I was levitating, which put me in range of that other guy. Ah, this game, man. This fucking game. Let's just save really quick. Cool, cool, cool. Alright. Okay, I think I got him. Did I get him? No. How about now? Yeah, now he's dead. Wait, is he? I think so. I feel like he's definitely dead. Alright, so there was a guy somewhere over there. I don't know if he was on the original platform I came in from, or somewhere on the ground, or if he was actually below me, somewhere down there. Ah, yes, there he is. You can see him being a wiggler. Give it a second to recharge. He might be the only other shooty dude. I'm really glad I didn't shoot my feet during that process. Okay, okay, are we good? I'm just gonna do something incredibly stupid and dangerous and fly across the room and see if anybody shoots me. Don't feel very perforated. I think we're okay. Alrighty then. There was a secret area. I'm not sure if it's a secret area, but there's an area over there that I want to get to before I go any further away from it. I don't want to lose altitude. Is this considered a secret area? No, but it does have a note. Balloon procedures. Alright, item must be kept away from animals. The cell must be regularly cleaned of the black substance the item produces. All cleaning tools must be blank along with the black substance. Item is a novelty balloon made of silver mylar. On its face is a colorful message to get well, surrounded by cartoon hearts. A ribbon is attached to the balloon. Item does not stop floating after a considerable amount of time in the bureau, which suggests it does not hover through the use of helium. Item produces a dark-colored sticky substance which drips down the ribbon. Yeah, that does not sound good. Also, we have a multimedia file? What did we get those multimedia? Oh, threshold kids. Duh. Yep, when you're caught in a house shift. Okay. I'm like, wait, what the fuck do we get this multimedia? Alright, let's open this box. That's a lovely computer screen you have there. And is there anything else around here? So I spent like 10 minutes trying to get over there so I could get up there, and you can get close, but you can't actually do anything up there. It's like a non-space, which sort of sucks. So the last mold sample is from near the pit, which 10 guesses as to what the pit is. It's that sample right there. So I'm just going to go over here, jump, and fall, and jump, and collect this mold sample.
This looks like a good one.
And anything in the miasma.
That's all 5 samples. I should get these back to Underhill.
Yeah, let's get these back to Underhill. This will be good. I think there might be some mold people between me and here there. No? I'm not positive. No, it looks like there aren't. That's good at least. So I can drop these with Underhill, and she should be able to develop me a pill that prevents the mold from dealing damage to me, which is a cool deal.
With mold for me.
Ooh, also a note. I don't know if this was here before and I missed it. Mold threshold. Mold threshold. So you want to know how my mold research is getting on, Casper? Here it is. Microscopic organisms similar in appearance to blank construct the architecture of the mold. I do not understand if these blank are the original disseminators of the mold or bitten by some fungal infection. The mold is the most prolific and durable organism I've ever seen. I theorize there is a mold source located somewhere out on our side of the threshold, rooted here to accelerate growth in this dimension. I refer to this yet unknown source as Mold 1. The mold produces an enticing aroma to encourage human consumption of itself. It propagates in the chest cavity, quickly subsumes the entire body, seizing control of motor functions. This behavior was observed when I first arrived, which means the mold has adapted to our presence. Oh, it was not observed when I first arrived. Which means the mold has adapted to our presence, targeting our biological imperatives as a way to spread. It is truly ingenious. it is a truly ingenious little thing. A full report will be ready soon. Keep your slacks on. By Dr. Raya Underhill, by order of Dr. Casper Darling. So, we know a little bit more about the mold. We know a little bit more about how flippant Dr. Underhill is. God, I really love her. Oh, look, another one. Let's read that one. Threshold Utility Counter Essay. Counter Essay. So there's an original essay. Threshold Utility. Okay. This is the Threshold Utility essay that we already picked up from Darling. That says thresholds are very useful, blah, 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 blah. These are very different cases and worth comparing as their studies offer vastly different dangers and rewards, right? Threshold Utility Counter Essay, because Raya is a snarky bitch. Dr. Darling's recently penned essay titled, I'm assuming, Threshold Utility, contains some glaring omissions I feel must shine a light on. Firstly, the entire premise of the essay is that the quarry threshold is beneficial to the Bureau, while the mold is actively hostile, to use his words. We cannot determine the worth of these dimensions and their life forms using bureaucratic definitions. Secondly, the mold is much more beneficial than some rock. If the blank creating the mold were reconfigured in their purpose, the structures they could build would rival the greatest skyscrapers. The mold's resistance to various strains of disease we've attempted to introduce could be derived into blank. Yes, admittedly, this application is more difficult than picking up a rock and gluing it to a wall, but I pause to wonder what the Bureau lost its eagerness for a challenge. Man, she is so salty and right, and I love her. Well, the Casper's like, the mold is evil, but the black rock is good, and she's like, that's stupid, and you're being narrow-minded.
Kind of wanted to eat them. The mold has that effect on some people. Likely due to the fact it's not actually mold, or even of this dimension. I suspect it is the result of two incompatible molecular structures, one dominant, coming into contact. I call it mold, or fungus, because it's closer in appearance and behavior than anything else we know. Except perhaps bacteria.
She reminds me of my old biology teacher.
Did you happen to meet any more members of my
I know what
ranger
happened, Miss
detail?
Osborne.
I didn't see any rangers. Just walking mold people. Unless...
Yes. If you found mold people, you found my rangers. I refer to the creatures as hosts. They, like other unwary agents, succumbed to the appetite.
Poor thing.
But that's nothing for you to worry about. The
Really?
pill I'm about to make with these samples will make the lower level perfectly safe to traverse. It has the added benefit of immunizing you against the pit's toxic spores.
Feel like I should ask to see her credentials.
There. That didn't take too long now, did it?
Normally, I think you have to
Ingest
wait
this
until you're
pill,
further on
then
in
go
the
and find
game.
the source of the
So
mold.
you have to come
Only
back
there
and
can we
like kill
begin
time
to
until you're
understand
at a
how to
certain
stop
point, in
it.
which case it's instantaneous.
Take a
I've
mystery
already beaten
pill
the game, it
because
was
a rude
instantaneous.
lady in a hazmat suit tells you to.
She's not
Great
rude, she's
idea,
terse.
Jesse.
Take it anyway.
Ugh. Honestly, did you want me to wrap it in cheese?
not the taste, the smell. It stinks in here now.
Good. That means the pill is working. The worse it smells, the safer you'll be. Now go.
Comforting,
Find the
right?
source.
And now we have a job to go investigate the pit, and find the source. But let's go ahead and ask Raya questions.
I assume you'll be staying with us until the mold is eradicated.
Indeed. Until I find a permanent resolution to this pesky fungus business, I'll be here. Perhaps even beyond that, seeing as you are quite understaffed at the moment.
Yeah.
Though I hardly have a say in my own comings or goings. Your oldest house won't open the exits until those hiss monstrosities are cleared out.
Glad to have you along for the ride. Will the mold be under control anytime soon?
We were barely containing it with weakly controlled burns. Just look at how it has spread after a few days of non-interference. It's beyond the threshold now. The floodgates are open.
So that's a no.
Americans.
It was interesting because you noticed that all the architecture in the pit area was completely rearranged. And I'm wondering if that was the house trying to like react to the mold to isolate it. But also the elevator that we take to and from this entire sector out of Central Research is also all modified and like fucked up. So I wonder if that's a more recent development. I wonder if, beforehand when we could control the mold, everything from here deeper, past Raya's office deeper, was all messed up as far as the architecture went, but everything prior to that was functional. And then once the mold started spreading backwards past those two rangers and past Raya's office, that's when that whole connective kind of tunnel of a elevator got messed up. Just
With
thoughts.
Darling gone, I'm putting Emily Pope in charge of the research sector. Are you okay with that?
Perfectly. You have pulled Excalibur from the stone, and now decree as you see fit, O Queen. What a true meritocracy we live in.
Bitchy, but
Glad
I
to hear
can
it.
understand it, honestly.
I had a dream. Or something like one. Darling was there. He told me something, but I can't remember what. I think he's gone.
Right. Well, he's never where one expects him to be, is he? Well, thank God. I can finally stop writing these tedious reports that I'm sure he never even took the time to glance at. If you speak to him again, can you tell him I hope he found what he was looking for.
I'll try.
I should be getting back to work.
Okay,
I'll see you later, Rhea.
that's one of the sadder conversations
Dr.
in this
Underhill,
game.
if you please.
I like that Jesse
This
consistently
work
calls her
won't finish
Raya.
itself.
Yeah, that's one of the sadder conversations in this game, just because you're like, oh, that's right, he was your friend, and now he's gone, probably forever, possibly dead. I'm sorry.
This must be the pit Underhill was talking about.
But I am just about done for the afternoon, so I will go ahead and let you guys go now. Just being cheap so I can get to this control point and save and quit. I'll go ahead and let you guys go now. Hopefully you had fun. This wasn't a particularly long one. I think it was just about a half hour. It was just getting those mold samples, and next time I come back we'll explore the pit. So, if you're my mom, I love you. If you're not my mom, I love you anyway. I hope you guys all have a great day, and we'll get in touch later.